Hi, hi everyone. Good to see you again, and I'm happy that some of you are listening to us, and we hope that as time goes by, many of you will have the opportunity to listen to us. Today, I want to have a very long conversation with you, and we are going to talk about various issues, and these are issues which matters in our lives, and they are things that we cannot ignore. Sometimes we ask about living right. Some people will say that will try to define what living right is, and some people will also try to focus on trying to live according to the way they like, and they will say that living right is relative. It depends on how you define what living right is. But there's a question which I believe, if we were born talking, or if you are born immediately and you're able to speak, there's this question which sometimes will be viable to ask. And this question is, what is life? I know there are many people who have not asked themselves that question, but if you would ask them, they will try to tell you that they would ask such question: what is life? What is really life? What is it that coming? You see, there's this guy who wanted to predict the future. He wanted to come up with a technology which was able to predict the future. But one of the guys he met, one of the people, he was explaining to them that he want to come up with a way to predict what is coming tomorrow. But this guy came and told him, life will not be sweet, or life will not be good living if you know what is coming tomorrow. It is better you don't know what is coming tomorrow, so that when you meet it, you take it as a challenge and you fight it. I want to dwell on what the second guy said, that life is good if you don't know what is coming tomorrow. If you really know what is coming tomorrow, then you'll find life very difficult to live. But I want to tell you today that most people have have gone by the first guy who want to come up with a machine or some technology which would enable humans to know what is really coming tomorrow. And beyond time, the people who have lived, our ancestors, there are some people who lived 120 years, 110 years, and they were able to live. And when you ask them whether they know what was coming tomorrow, they will tell you that they never knew. But in some occasions, um, we may predict. For example, if you plant today, you know that in the next 4 months you will be able to harvest. And if you don't plant, you will not be able to harvest, which sometimes it is a 50-50 chance or a 100-0 chance. For example, if you plant, it is a 50-50 that you will be able to harvest, or 70-90. There's some, even if it is small, but there's a chance. But if you don't plant, it is a 0-100 chance, because you know that at the end of the day you are not going to harvest. Many people, or some people, are living as if they should know what is coming tomorrow. If they don't know what is not coming tomorrow, then they find life difficult, and they get into other things which are not really making sense. Because the moment you try to understand what is coming tomorrow, it means that you'll have to contend with a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, and a lot of many things. So you realize that you cloud your mind with the things that you cannot change, things that you have a very little power to do something about. And the moment you cloud your mind with a lot of things that you cannot change, or things that there's nothing you can do about, that is the moment you when the brain have a lot of pressure. That is the time you will try to focus on a single thing instead of diversifying your thinking. The moment you focus on one thing, actually, especially when it is something which is negative, you will realize that all your energy, all your thinking, all your power will be focusing on that particular problem or in that particular calamity. And that is the moment then you will realize that your brain is clouded such that your brain will not be able to receive any new idea. And at that particular juncture, you will realize that even taking an advice from someone becomes very difficult, because your mind is clouded to a point that you are not able to think of any other thing else, or to receive any new idea. Our brain is like water. You see, water, when it is agitated, or when it is receiving a lot of waves, and you cannot see anything in it. Even if you drop a coin in a clear water, and there's a lot of waves, there's a lot of things bombarding that water, you'll not be able to see that particular coin in it. But the moment you leave this water to settle, you'll be able to see the very deep. And that is how our mind is. When we leave our mind to receive a lot of negative waves, our mind will be clouded, our mind will be agitated, and our mind will not always think straight. So we go to school, we study so that we may have a brighter future. The reason why we talk about we may have a brighter future is because we don't know what is coming tomorrow. We only know that if we go to school, or if we prepare well, our life tomorrow will be better than the life of today. But sometimes we have to look back and ask ourselves, is the life we are living today is better than the life we are living tomorrow, yesterday? That is a question which many people sometimes may not bother asking themselves. It is life is like a business. When you do a business, you have to sit down sometimes and ask yourself, am I really making profit? You see, sometimes you may be having a lot of customers coming in and going out, but at the end of the day, you will realize that you're not making profit, you're making losses. That is the same as life. Sometimes you may be living in a very big bungalow, you may be living in a very exquisite apartment, you are driving a very big car, you are working in a very big office, your life is perfect according to the people outside. But sometimes, do you really sit down and do the evaluation and ask yourself, the life which I was living yesterday and the life which I'm living today, which one is more profitable? Are you driving a very big car, and the fundamental parts of life is well taken care of? Yeah, that is also, or that is a question which sometimes you may ask yourself. It is just like when you're getting promotion in a job. You've been working, and here the promotion comes. Sometimes you may not evaluate what the promotion is coming with, and you just get into the office and start earning a very big salary, good perks of allowance. But have you asked yourself what this thing is going to cost me? You see, there are things that we cannot afford in our lives. No matter how much money we may have, we may not be able to afford them. For example, the the time with the family, the love, those are things that you cannot afford. No matter how rich you are, how poor you are, they're things that you cannot afford. Yet they are cheap, but they are very expensive at the same time. These are things that you can decide. You either decide to give time for them, or you decide not to. But I tell you, they will cost you at some time in the future. And that one brings me to what I wanted to talk about today. Uh, have you ever wondered if you have interacted with somebody who is dying, or you have interacted with someone who is very sick and thinks that is going to die, or you've interacted with this guy who is trying to change. They come to their senses that whatever they were doing in the past has been wrong, and they really want to change. Or let me say you've watched a movie. A movie, sometimes they are fictions, but you will realize that most people who write a movie, be it a drama, be it a fiction, be it animation, be it a adventure, they are trying to bring the aspect of reality, aspect of real life. It is just like a book. It is just like a book. You see, somebody is writing a book. There's a reason why they are writing those books. There's some books which are talking about reality. There's some fictitious book, but at the end of the day, they are aspect of life in them. So you will realize that somebody is dying, somebody who is trying to change, or or somebody who thinks that they are very sick, they are going to die. These people, they will always try to make peace with the past. They will try to make peace with the past. I don't know whether that is the moment when their conscience is now becoming clear and telling them, no, what you've been doing is has not been good, and things are not okay right now, and you have to make things right. Or this somebody is not dying or anything, but come to his senses, sit down and realize that, whatever I've been doing is not good, and I really want to change. So that one can form the basis of our conversation, that you realize that majority of the things that you've been doing, maybe you've been involving in drugs, or maybe you've been involving in robbing people, or you've been involving in your your language has not been you've not been showing compassion, you've not been sympathizing with people, you've just been there, very cruel, drug addict. You will do things just the way you like them. You will not consider anybody when you're talking to them, when you're doing something to them. So a point come when you realize that whatever I've been doing has not been good, and now I want to change. This one happens in many people. You see, just as I said, we may not know what is coming. Sometimes you may think that you are going to die in the next day. But life is funny. And God is fair, though life is not. You live a very long life. Sometimes you live to 70s. And your conscious become clear as you grow. And you reach a point where you are maybe 50, 60 years and above. And that's the time you realize that my past has not been good. My past has been clouded with a lot of stuff. The question which I'm going to ask you today, will you be in a position to make peace with your past quickly, or your past will torment you maybe for the next 40 years if you live, that is 90? You see, you may be doing things which some people do not know whether they are doing bad or good. But at some point, your conscious will be able to tell you or will alert you that whatever you're doing is not right. Some people may continue to do them. Some people may stop. The earlier you stop, the better. Because what I want to tell you today is that there's a point in life that you're going to decide to start doing the right thing. The point in life that your conscience is going to come clear. There's a point in life that you're going to realize that abusing people, insulting people is not the right thing to do. Robbing people is not the right thing to do. And you start to realize that being kind, showing some mercy, compassion is the right thing to do. But how is that going to resonate with your past? You see, at times when we do bad things, we don't do them as a single entity. We do them as a group. We have a certain influence. We have a certain group of people who will try to come together and do these things. And the reason why you realize that when you're doing the wrong things, it will be nicer to do it in a company of people is because of that fear influence. And this time now you realize that whatever I've been doing is wrong and I need to start a clean page. And you realize, man, I have a group of people, and these people we have done a lot of bad things, and I really need to break. I really need to start doing the right thing. And remember, this group of people are still alive. That's the moment you will realize that breaking becomes very difficult, and you will realize that this has made people who wanted to change in their lives, they have been stuck. They have been stuck in this mud of their friends. They were doing things because an ideology, once it brought to light, killing that ideology is not easy. You cannot even, the people who have embraced that particular kind of ideology, you cannot kill all of them and you succeed. One of the people I've interacted with once said that if you want to kill ideology, maybe is to come with a better one which is new, and that one also is going to take you time for you to convince people that whatever you believe in is wrong and whatever I'm bringing is the right one. it will take people with clear conscience, which is not easy to get, to understand that this is the right ideology. Sometimes you just need to have your own personal ideology to survive in this world. So, when I go back to doing the wrong things and the right things, or doing majority of the wrong things and trying to do the right thing a little bit, that thing has cost many people their peace. And as they try to make peace, they realize that making that peace is very difficult. If if you listen to politicians in our country and across the country, where we say that there is no permanent enmity in politics. Yes, there is no permanent enmity in politics because of what we call interest. Uh, this is where you decide to choose between two devils. They say that I have two evils in front of me, and I'll try to choose one who will tell me that is they are going to solve, or they are going to protect some of my interest. Yes, they are friendship in politics. They are also enmity in politics. And as much as we are being told that there's no permanent or whatever in politics, that is kind of a lie. Because that's the moment you realize that you are with this kind of person in one camp, and now you are no longer in that camp, and this person who you were with in the same camp start to say things that you used to do with them. Though most of the time we will not be able to believe that. As a citizen, you will believe that, but you will always be told that you don't have evidence to show. But that one will leave for another day. But today I want to tell you how to break from a very bad relationship. I'm not talking about girl boy relationship. I'm talking about this bad group, or you are doing the wrong things in the past, and you decide now that I want to do the good things, but because of your past you find it very difficult to break, because of the things you used to do start haunting you. The first way to break from this particular group is not to join this group at all. You see, when we are growing, we try to seek answers. We try to get the solution to the problems we face. You see, just as I said when I was beginning, that when we were born when our mouths were shut. We were not even able to hear. Though we hear, but we cannot comprehend what was being spoken around us until we grow, until we familiarize ourselves with the environment, to a point when we start talking, we find ourselves we are already in the system. If we were able to ask questions when we were born, we would ask ourselves, what is this life? And because of the society which we are living in today, which is busy, nobody is there to guide you. Most of us grow and try to experience life on their own. So you realize that as you try to experience life, and as you try to engage people, as you try to interact with people, you come to meet people of different caliber. And doing bad things, actually, I tell you, they are very interesting. And the moment you get into that, you get some ideology which has been already established. And this ideology, they will fix them in your mind. And the moment you get them into your mind, you get into that particular society. And the moment you get into that particular society, you will get deep, deep, and deep. And the time you will realize that no, these are the things which I was not supposed to do, then boom, breaking that bond becomes very difficult. So one of the things that you need to do is try to find solution in the right way. When you grow, maybe sometimes your parents did not have time to teach you, and maybe your parents, you may not blame them in this particular juncture. Sometimes some of them are also still struggling to understand what this life really is, because you will still find parents who are abusive. You will still uh, find parents who beat their wives in front of children. You'll find wife who are, parents who abuse drugs. So you will realize that when you grow at that particular environment, you'll find it difficult to find the correct answers from the very people you think you should find these answers from. So we move outside. So what I urge you is that before you go outside there, try as much as possible to get the information by yourself. Even before you join a particular ideology, there are some questions that you need to ask yourself, so that you don't get involved in something that coming out will be difficult. So one of the solutions of breaking from doing bad things is not joining them at first. There's this thing which Trump said. It was a very small speech, and if you're a friend of the social media, it has been there for some time, and of lately I saw many people sharing it. Trump was saying that an uncle who was a drug addict. He used to drink a lot, and when he met Trump, he told him, "No, man, don't drink, don't do cigarettes, don't drink. Look at me, my life is a mess. But I tell you, if you don't want to be like the way I am today, don't drink." And Trump said that as much as the life of that person was a mess, he gave him an advice. And that is a story of many people. If you find a good friend, I do. I have many friends who tell me, you know, they are drunk, fully drunk, and they come and tell you, man, if you haven't started drinking, or if it doesn't get into your blood, please stop. Don't continue drinking. There are many parents who do that. They get involved in drugs and started drinking when they were young. By the time they get children, they were already drunkards, and they were already addicted to alcohol. And when their children grow, they will tell them, man, don't drink. The reason why they tell you that don't drink is that they have get into that kind of mad. They have gotten there very deep, and they have known the journey which they have been walking since the time they get into that. So when they tell you, they know the reason why they are telling you. Don't tell them back that, why are you telling me not to drink, yet you are drunk. There's a reason why they are telling you that. So one of the best, just like when you are told that one of the best ways to avoid HIV/AIDS and all that sexual transmitted disease is to abstain. Abstain meaning that don't get involved in the first place. So that is one of the ways of breaking through this particular mess. There's someone who has get into this and they want to break. I know it may be easy for me, but it may not be easy for you. So what are you supposed to do? At this particular juncture, just try to define what is important in your life. If you've realized that something is wrong or something is not good with what you're doing, it means that there's something important with your life that you need to define. What is that? What is the purpose? Why do you want to break? And whatever the reason why you want to break, is it worth dying for? Is it worth losing friend for? Is it worth running away from the society you used to be in? That is the moment you will realize that I am breaking. The moment you've defined the reason why you're breaking, that is the moment that you'll be able to cut ties with the bad group you were in before. So try to define what is important. Sometimes some is family. They say if I continue doing whatever I'm doing right now, I'm not going to have family. And I really need to have a family. You will break. If you're being driven by that ambition of having family, you're going to break it. You're going to break that relationship. It is a matter of defining what is important. Is staying in that society, breaking ties with your family, you're not able to get married and have kids, and you really decide to have these kids, then that ambition, that dream is going to pull you. It's going to pull you. So you need to keep on having that dream in your mind. I want to have this. I want to live a normal life. I want to live the life which other people are living. So I have to break. It is not a matter of cutting ties. You see, these people, you have to run away from them or what. Making up mind is one of the most important thing that sometimes you need to do in this life. When you made up your mind that you're going somewhere, your mind will take you there. I don't know how we were created. I don't know how I can separate between the soul, the heart, and our body. I may try to understand that, but I may not fully understand how that happens. But from the little experience I have in this life, I know is that we have our brain. I think it is the mind. Mind is what enables us, or let me say our brain. Our brain is what enables us to do the things you see we do around. The invention of television, the invention of the camera, the invention of everything that we have around, that is the work of the brain. And if you want to know something which is very lazy in your body, more than any other thing else, is your brain. Brain is the most laziest thing you will ever find around. And it is the same time the most hardworking part of your body. The only difference is how I don't know how to differentiate you and your brain. But what I want to tell you is that there is some you somewhere which will tell your brain what to do. Get a problem and direct it to the brain. Brain will find a solution to you immediately, or may take some time, but at the end of the day you will find a solution. For example, the person who wanted to invent a TV, someone who wanted to invent an aeroplane, someone who wanted to invent the lights, and the invention you see around here, it was a problem because this person was in the dark and he wanted light. And tell the brain, think of how we can invent light. And the brain settled, and we were able to see the lights we see around. And if you get comfortable with the light, then your brain will also get comfortable. If you get comfortable with the dark, your brain will also get comfortable with the dark, and your brain will never find a solution to you, because that is how our brain is. There's you somewhere who will trigger your brain and tell your brain, we want to do this, and your brain will, the time you're sleeping, your brain will try to find a solution, and the moment the brain gets solution, it will tell you, I've gotten a solution to the problem you were looking for. But the moment you get comfortable with a certain problem, when you get comfortable, or maybe you want to get shortcut for a certain problem, like the depression, we see people committing suicide in a daily basis because they have instructed their brain that we are not going to do anything about this, and we are going to find a very shortest solution, which is getting out of this mess. And how are we going to get out of this mess? Your brain will tell you, getting out of this mess, I think it is only suicide, killing yourself. Stop seeing, because wherever you go, you will have to meet. But when you tell your brain, you see, we have a problem in front of us, and this problem we have to solve it, and one of the solution is not dying. I tell you, give your brain some time, it will come with a solution. So, if you set your mind that you want to do something, your brain will help you do it. If you set your mind that there's a company that you want to break from, you want to break loose, I tell you, your brain will help you break it loose. But if your mind is not made up, if you think that I need to break and at the same time I don't need to break, your brain will be undecided and find a comfort and sleep. You see, they are saying that the geniuses, there are some who are using a quarter of their brains, and we use a very small portion of our brain, because our brain is marvelous. That is what God gave us. That's what God gave us to separate us from other animals, because our brain can think, our brain can come up with a solution. You just need to give your brain some time. Need to give your brain that opportunity. You see, you can protect your brain from bombarding with other things. Your brain is like water, I said before. If you keep on bombarding it, it will not think straight. It will think a lot of things. I believe the doctor has told you that so and so died from a lot of pain. It means that your brain was receiving impulses or pain from all over your body. Your brain get exhausted and stop functioning, and you died. Yeah. A lot of impulse and a lot of pain from all over the body can cause death. So, It means that if you are able to protect your brain from the things which are not necessary, then you leave your brain to focus on something which is necessary. Trust me, you're going to get a solution to your problems. Why do you think you get stressed? Maybe after 3-4 days you're okay. It is because you are okay, but not the problem you are facing has been solved. But it is because your brain has figured out on how to settle this issue without having to focus on it. Maybe the solution is going to take some time. For example, you are a candidate and you did your KCSE, you got your results, and the results were not something you were hoping for. You get stressed, but maybe after 1 week you say, this is what I'm going to do, and you're going to settle on that. You're going to stop all the stress and the pressure you're having. You're coming to have a solution. So the second way of breaking loose from this bad company which you are very much desiring to break from is focusing on the reason why you want to break, focusing on the purpose. Another thing, or another way of trying to break up from this particular bond is simply break up. Break loose from that company you're trying to, be it a drug addict company, is it mugging company, is it a company which rob people, and all that kind of stuff. Just break for your own good. You see, we have not gone ahead to see what is coming. But life, sometimes we live life by seeing how others lived their lives. Because most of the things we experience, not even most of the things, all of the things that we experience in life, they are things that they have been experienced by others. Trust me, whatever you're going through right now, somebody has gone through that and they have overcome. The only thing that you need to do is try to get other people's stories. If you cannot find somebody and sit down with them and ask them how their lives are, you will only meet people putting on nice clothes, suits, driving big cars, but you will never get into their minds and know the kind of problem that they are going through. So what I tell you today is that if you have no chance of getting to know the life people are living outside there, then I urge you to go and read books. If you cannot access books, go watch movies. I tell you, only 10 movies will help you to relate what you're going through. Because whatever you're going through is something that people have gone through. And there's no point of living to regret on your deathbed if you have a chance to make things right now. So do the right thing and just break. Because I tell you, there's a time in life when your conscience will be clear. And the only problem you're going to face is haunt. Your brain is going to be haunted on the things you used to do in the past. No matter how much you will try to make peace with them, which of course you will. At some point. if you decide to do the right thing, if you go find Jesus to help you overcome them, there's a time in life that you will try to make peace with the past, but you will find it very difficult to do that. You're alive, you're not dying anytime soon, and these things continue haunting you. What you used to do when you were still in that particular company, this thing is going to haunt you because your brain will be settling on doing good. But the bad side of you, or the evil, the devil will keep on reminding you, it will keep on reminding you, you think you now a good person. You remember what we used to do when you were still bad. So your mind will keep on telling you that. And before I finish, I want to talk to people who do good. You see, when you read your word, when you read the Bible says that when this rich man called Jesus good, and Jesus told him, no, I'm not good person. There's only one good person, and that's the Father who sent me. But we have our version of good in this world. You see, when you feed the hungry, when you clothe the people who don't have clothes, those are some of the good deeds we know in this world. But I tell you that there are some people who do good with bad motives, but there are some people who do good from their heart. So you need to choose. Are you someone who do good from their heart, or are you someone who do good for bad motive? If you're the latter, then I will tell you that stop doing good. It will haunt you. The reason why I'm saying that is that don't do good because there's some interest or there's some ego that you want to satisfy. Decide to do good from your heart. And how are you going to know that you're doing good from your heart, or you're doing good to satisfy your ego, or you're doing good to achieve something? First, if you're someone who discriminate, or if you're someone who sit down there and say, I'll be doing good, but not to everyone. There's some selected people that I'm going to do good to. Then you're lying to yourself. Stop doing good. Just be bad. We know you. Just be bad. But if you want to do good, do it to everyone. Don't say that, many people have hurt me. I've been trying to do good. Who told you that if you do good, people will do good back to you? No, that is a lie. And you see, it means that you've not experienced life. You start doing good yesterday and somebody insulted you. Instead of appreciating you, then you start saying, when you do good, people will try to use you and dump you. Oh, my friend, the people have been doing good for the whole of their lives, and the only thing they've been receiving is insults, and the only thing they've been receiving is abuse. But they never stop doing good because that is coming from their heart. It is not they are not trying to satisfy a certain ego. So if you want to join a group of people who are doing good, then join that group. Don't look back and say, I did good so and so, they did not appreciate me. The only thing is that they talk bad about me. No. Be one. Don't be in the middle. If you want to be good, be good. If you want to be bad, just be bad. Because darkness and light cannot live in the same place. And remember, darkness is always there. when you read your word, if you read the Bible talk about the darkness was all over the world. What covers this world was darkness. So darkness is always there. Until you bring the light, the darkness will not leave. The darkness cannot come and consume light. It is light which come and drive away darkness. So if you want to join the light today, join the light. Don't stay in the dark. There are many good things about the light that you will come to appreciate, that even if you do something good and nobody appreciates, there are many good things more than appreciation from ungrateful people. So if you're doing something good, if you sympathize with people, if you empathize with people, that is, you see, the difference between sympathy and empathy, or between sympathize and empathize, is that you sympathize with people, but yeah, you just sympathize with them, but there's nothing you can do. Maybe because you you don't want to do, but these people who empathize with people, they empathize. It means that whatever someone is going through is not good for them, and they will try to help. But sympathize, whatever you're going through is not good, but I cannot help you. So join the group and help people. Things which are done unconditionally are the things that we appreciate in this life. You see, we have unconditional things. If you start doing things conditionally, don't, for example, doing good thing conditionally, that is not good thing. Do something unconditionally. Even if you love, if you fall in love with a certain lady or a certain man, I will say that if you fall in love with a certain girl conditionally, then that love is not going to last. For example, if a girl asks you, why do you love me, and you tell them, I love you because of your walking style. What about if they get accident and they break their legs? Will you still love them? Maybe you love them because they have beautiful face. You see, we understand age comes, and when it comes, everybody will see. What about if they get old? Will you still love them? I love you because of your body. You see, when somebody is still giving birth, there's hormone. Hormone is trying to balance and give them shape. The moment they stop giving birth, the hormone will not be focusing on giving them shape. Will you still love them when they are shapeless? So everything that we do unconditionally, it is what lasts. When you are asked, why do you love so and so? Or when a girl tell you that, why do you love me? Tell them, I don't know why I love you. They will not appreciate it, but they will not know